Hey detectives, it's been a while, but I'm back with another installment of my Nancy Drew ranking series. And this time we're tackling, or should I say, dropping a chandelier on Message in a Haunted Mansion. That was painful. Anyways, there are going to be serious spoilers for the game in this video. I'm going to be looking at plot, characters, atmosphere, puzzles, and replay value, and give the game an overall grade. This game was my very first Nancy Drew game when I was like 8, so I'm going to try my very best to not look at it with rose-colored glasses, but I am making zero promises. A few quick things about Message in a Haunted Mansion. It's the third game in the series by HerInteractive. It was originally released November 24th, 2000. Alright, let's get into it. The setup for this game is off. Why are Rose and Abby like, hey, you know how we keep having accidents around our super specialized remodel of a Victorian mansion? Let's ask a teenager to help. Did they just run out of friends and family for free labor? And they're like, okay, Nancy Drew sounds good for this. The opening letter doesn't say Nancy is investigating anything. She's just there to help with repairs. In fact, the very first time Rose and Nancy speak in the game, she asks if she's ready to get to work on the renovations. But after all this focus on renovations, Nancy does basically nothing. She ties an iron to a rope to fix the dumbwaiter, chips off some tiles that take seconds, and that's it. Rose is out of jobs. Nancy does replace the tiles in the library on the fireplace, but she doesn't do that because Rose asked her to help, and it's not for the renovation. She has some ulterior motives there. I'm starting to think Abby and Rose called Nancy just to put together that awful tile inlay puzzle in the dining room, because that thing is a pain. And honestly, that's worth calling Nancy right there. The plot of the game flows pretty well though. The longer you play, the more haunts you experience, but you can also miss a lot of action in the game. You can miss a ton of the little haunts, conversations that happen behind closed doors, the seance, and the fire. I don't think having the capability to skip these scenes was intentional, and it can seriously affect your experience overall. But if you play the game as they intended, the plot works and it flows well. I like games that seem to have two plot lines happening, and this one has depth. One is the renovation and the hauntings, and the other is this love story between Diego and Lizzie. It gives us a lot more to experience and chew on while we're going through the game. But I have to address a giant plot hole, at least for me. The biggest plot hole is that no one noticed the pile of gold below the Phoenix wooden inlay. There's no way those floors stayed in that shape this entire time. Nobody redid these. They are stunning. Okay, jokes aside, another super small plot point is, where is Charlie gonna end up in the end? I guess Nancy is no snitch because she doesn't mention it in her ending letter, so maybe he's still just chilling in the basement, but Rose and Abby having all those guests now would make it a lot more difficult for him. Overall, I'm giving the plot a 10 out of 10. I was incredibly close to giving it a 9 out of 10, but the love story, the fact they tied up all the hauntings with a neat little bow by explaining it was Abby, and we get her to confess for that, it's solid, and it really doesn't leave any questions. Time to go over characters. Physically, we have Rose Green, Abby Sedaris, Charlie Murphy, Louis Chandler, or should I say Chandelier. Seriously though, I did not catch that as a kid, and it's truly hilarious to me. We also have a handful of phone contacts in this one. Emily Foxworth and Hannah Groon, both of which disappear without a trace after this game, by the way. We do get Hannah back in email form for a couple games, and she sends us some mail and Alibi and Ashes, but she's supposed to be this huge part of Nancy's life, and after this game she's hardly mentioned. Fingers crossed Game 34 has Hannah as a phone contact. Anyway, back to this game. We also have George Fain and Bess Marvin. Back to the physical characters, I love that they have their own schedules. It really makes the characters feel real. In other games, the characters are always at their post, so to speak. So this is nice. As we go through the game, we uncover various reasons each physical character might be the culprit. I think they did an amazing job casting doubt on everyone in this game. Lewis's motive is that he wants to buy property cheap or have more time to use the library. Rose has that $1 million insurance policy. Abby wants publicity for the B&B. Charlie may want to prolong the renovations so that he can earn more money and stay in his little hidey hole longer. When the guests start rolling in, he might not be able to sneak around as easily. In the end, it makes complete sense that the Antiquities pro, who has done hours upon hours of research on San Francisco history, is the one who knows about the gold and is behind the sabotage. But honestly, I would have accepted any of these characters as the culprit in the end. A rare occurrence in this game, if you're lucky, you can hear Abby and Rose arguing while hanging up curtains. Abby flat out accuses Rose of setting the fire to collect the insurance funds. They make up and decide to keep working, but this is so rare for a Nancy Drew game. It's truly a treat to hear two characters interact with one another. Okay, back to our lovely phone contacts. Hannah provides a valuable backstory on Rose and Abby, while Emily provides key information needed to solve that massive save puzzle at the end. This is truly the first game that they ironed out the phone contact mechanic, and Bess and George give out amazing hints. For these reasons, the characters in this game get a 10 out of 10. They're likable for the most part. As a player, I'm suspicious of them all, and HerInteractive spent hours crafting their personalities, and it truly shows. They are truly written well. Time for the atmosphere, and this is going to be the shortest category of this ranking. The vibes are immaculate. A Victorian mansion, the eerie yet beautiful soundtrack, hidden passageways and rooms, all of it tying together. Like, come on. I love that we can use a hidden room behind the library fireplace that we discover to spy on a suspect. No notes, 10 out of 10. And after that glowing review, we get to puzzles, and they are scarce. I struggle to count combining an inventory item with something in the game as a puzzle, so that takes out the dumbwaiter situation and placing tiles on the fireplace. That leaves us with the puzzle that shall not be named, Diego on the stairs, the maze to get into Lewis' computer, piano puzzle, the Chinese zodiac puzzle, slider puzzle, pyramid puzzle, and the poem puzzle. Now, I'm always down for a good slider puzzle, but most of the puzzles I just rattled off are so underwhelming and feel like busy work, especially the maze one. This dude is super concerned about security, apparently. Per Rose, he's concerned about viruses, I guess, and he's fine with having a wide open back door to get to his laptop. That's suspicious. That's weird. Then we have the puzzle with the Chinese zodiac, which is just listing them in order of this random book we found inside the mansion. Way too convenient. A massive redeeming puzzle in this game is the poem puzzle. I adore this puzzle, and the poem is forever ingrained into my brain. Can you imagine a huge tapestry just hanging on your wall being the key to a huge pile of gold? I love that idea. I love thinking that one day in the secondhand store, I'll find a huge tapestry that will point me to riches. It could happen, okay? Alright, I'm done romanticizing my life, but it's a great puzzle. The symbols, which are the key to the safe, are scattered around the house, which is super convenient, but I'll look past it. Except for the one that you need to call Emily about. It's such a good puzzle that adds time to gameplay and makes sure the player is really paying attention to the surroundings. So for those reasons, I'm giving Message on a Mansion a 6 out of 10 for puzzles. There really aren't many quality puzzles in here, and the saving grace is the poem puzzle. But even that great poem puzzle can't bump this game up any higher than this. This is just one of those games that's more about the story, conversations, and exploring than the puzzles. Alright, last category is replay value. The lack of puzzles severely harms this game in this category. But puzzles aren't everything in a Nancy Drew game. Okay, I mean, they mean a lot, but not everything, right? The atmosphere, characters, and plot are super strong, so I'm giving this game a 7 out of 10 for replay value. The fact that you can overlook some of the storyline and haunts make playing it again enjoyable. It doesn't have the same predictable meter that some of the games have that are divided by days. Like in Final Scene, it's distinctly divided into 3 days, and you have to complete certain tasks in each day. This one, you can go several days without having done anything, really. There's a sense of variety that you really don't get when replaying some of the other games. Okay, I can't do it. Look, I have to look at this game with fondness. It was my first Nancy Drew game. I replay it over and over again until I die. I'm giving it a 9 out of 10. I don't care. I can't help it. Get angry at me in the comments if you want. that's what it's getting. All right, adding everything up, now we have a 10 out of 10 for plot, 10 out of 10 for characters, 10 out of 10 for atmosphere, 6 out of 10 for puzzles, and 9 out of 10 for replay value. That is a grand total of 45 out of 50 points, which gives us our first A of the ranking series. It's the first good game in the Nature series by HerInteractive, and I truly think it deserves a score. Am I biased? Yes. Am I okay with that? Also yes. Let me know in the comments if you like this kind of video, and maybe I'll make some more often. I'm Jetpack, and I'll see you next time.